you're a big time fan favorite of this show, particularly. I spent so much time gushing on this podcast over yourself and the brilliant run with Masha Slamovich as the knockout champions. Of course, rivals first. The listeners voted MK Ultra one of our tag teams of the year last year. I want to talk about that. Like, you two, just the storytelling behind it all was so brilliant. And, you know, it really helped. I feel like, TNA really picked up a lot of steam. I feel like this story and you and Masha were a big part of that. And you two started out as foes, brawling in vignettes and backstage. And then you're fighting in matches. And then you became like frenemy pseudo lovers. And then, of course, champions and everything. It was just phenomenal. So I'm curious, like, did TNA come to you guys with this long story arc already laid out? Or were you guys kind of making it up week to week? Or were you pitching it? Like, how did that all come together and sort of play out?
So I've been signed to TNA for a long time before I actually had my debut. And I remember seeing Masha have her debut and her whole like kind of like psycho character and all of that. And since the day that I saw her debut on television, I was like, oh my God, we're like kind of similar. And it like, until I had my official debut, I've always thought like, oh my God, we would be paired up like really well and all that. But I never said anything to anyone on TNA, and neither to her. But I was always thinking, like, back of my mind, okay, let me just do my own thing in the beginning. But then I was like, okay, I feel like we're being put like far away from each other in this beginning. Because there's like some reasoning behind it. I think they might want us to do something together. And when they didn't even come with the idea per se, they just said, hey, you and Masha are going to have a match together. And we're like, sick. Let's do it. Let's kill it, knock it out of the park. And I feel like they saw a really good chemistry and they started to roll the ball with the idea of us maybe teaming together. They never actually told us, hey, you're gonna team together, you're gonna team. We just had that idea, like, oh, it seems like they're gonna go this route. So we started like plotting and talking about it and whatnot. And then we just teamed one day and was like, yep, I think they want to do something with us. And we just clicked as a team, and every single time after the first time that we teamed, it was just like us brainstorming with the writers and all of that. So basically everything that you saw on television, it was basically me and Masha just just rolling with it and literally going to shoot a backstage promo, and we would be like, this is what we're gonna do. Like, let's just roll with it. Like, turn on the camera and we're gonna do something. And it always worked, and it was fantastic.
Absolute magic, And just to bring it back to something you said a little bit ago, so TNA had you signed a long time before you debuted. Might I ask, why was that? Like, was it like a recruitment type thing, or did you have other commitments you had to finish up or something?
COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the part we all like to try and forget, right?
yeah. I was stuck in Portugal. Like, they offered me, so I did the tag team tournament. And the next day, so it was 2 days of tapings. The next day they offered me a contract. And I was like, hell yeah, let's freaking do it. And I even signed the contract when I was still in the US. Then I went back to Portugal. I thought, oh, is this going to be a couple of months, gather my stuff, take care of like the visa situation, blah, blah, blah. No, it just took a long time. And yeah, like I was trapped in Portugal for like 9 months. And then I found like a little loophole of how to get into the States, but I still couldn't work because I was in a process of getting the visa. So I literally... I arrived in the US. I took like 2 or 3 indie bookings, not 2 or 3, I think like a handful of indie bookings. And then they're like, it is not a good idea you working. Just please stop working until we have everything situated. I was like, okay, yeah, makes sense. So then it was another I stopped working for a little bit, and then finally, after like half a year or more than half a year in the States, no, it wasn't half a year, it was almost a year. I finally was able to work. Like it was ridiculous, like all the waiting.
Yeah, and you so was becoming a TNA knockout, was that like a bucket list thing for you in your career prior?
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Like I was very fortunate to reach one of my main goals in such an early stage of my career, which was to get to WWE. Excuse me. And it's drinking coffee. Like
I'm on the same boat over here. Yeah.
So I reached one of my bucket list goals. I was like the first Portuguese signee to WWE. Like it was crazy. And then I was like, okay, I do have other goals. I want to go to Japan. Definitely, I want to wrestle for Impact, TNA now. And once I did those tapings, I was like, God damn, I really want to be a knockout. Like I literally grew up watching WWE. And then once I was like 13 or 14, I found TNA and I fell in love with TNA. Like I was obsessed with it.
I'm the same
And
way. Yeah.
yeah, I was obsessed with the beautiful people. Like I was like, oh my God, they're amazing. I was obsessed with Gail. I remember seeing Gail was one of the first people that I saw that I was like, oh, she's from WWE. Oh, she's here now. Oh, she's amazing. Like, I don't know why they like this Gail wasn't in WWE. Like, she's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was obsessed with Taylor Wilde. I even I've told her a million times that I was obsessed with her. My first like official gear was inspired in Taylor Wilde. So I've always had like that connection with the TNA knockout. So once I became one, it was surreal.
So now to bring, I guess, contract talks or whatever to the present time. So like there's rumors about your status with TNA as of late, and we touched on it. You're filming a flick, you know what I mean? But TNA specifically, there's rumors about like, you know, you're filming a horror movie. We touched on that. People are saying you're eyeing up NXT or WWE again. People are saying you're just taking a break, all of these different things. But can you shed some light? Yes or no, Killer Kelly? You are still, in fact, a TNA knockout currently, correct?
Yes, I'm a TNA knockout.
Guys.
Come on now, look at this.
Let's go.
I'm a TNA knockout. Like, I don't know. Like, I know why the rumor started. I definitely know why. Because it was a miscommunication between. I'm not gonna get deep into it. Like all the dirt sheets already got into it. I was just really ridiculous. Like ridiculous how that got that far away to the point that I was like, "Did you guys fire me?" And they're like, "No, what the hell?"
Oh my God, really? It got that bad where you had to ask?
Yeah, I had to ask because I was out of the roster page because someone within TNA thought that I wasn't with TNA anymore because of the dirt sheet. So they just decided to take me off the website. And I was like, the higher ups didn't even know that happened. I went to the higher ups. I was like, hey guys, so this is happening. They were like, what the is happening?
Oh my goodness.
They made a call. Everything got settled. I was just like, okay.
See, that's why I don't try and report news. I say it. I'm the clown in the corner making jokes. You know what I mean? I don't try and do that because it's such I don't want to affect anyone's career with like my bad reporting on, you know, I just don't go. I just don't do it that way. But I mean, shout out those who do. But damn, I didn't realize it got that serious. And it must have been tricky. So speaking of like the higher ups, you know, you were there when Scott D'Amore was there. And of course now, and then he went along. So how was that transitional phase sort of for you? Were you in the mix of it? Was there chaos backstage or was it rather smooth and seamless? Or can you shed any light on that at all?
I mean, it was smooth and seamless because like us, the wrestlers, we don't get to see what happens in those meetings and all of that. We basically just, you know, independent contractors that go there, have their matches, write their stories, pitch every now and then, but those conversations were not a part of it. So it was just weird not seeing Scott on the next set of tapings.
Right.
Because I'm very thankful for Scott for everything that he's done in my career. Like, I love Scott. He's great. Like, he makes me laugh. He was a really great boss. But it was just weird not seeing him. that was it. And then,
Yeah.
oh, we have new bosses. Okay, they're cool people too.
Yeah.
But that was it. Yeah, it's just sad not seeing him backstage.
And so, like, creatively and stuff, what changed there? Like, nothing? Or, like, I'm sure Scott was back there helping give direction and stuff. So, like, who, if anybody, I guess, stepped up in that role? Or, like, what was the change that you noticed there, if there was any?
I didn't notice any changes, to be perfectly honest. I know that he had the final saying and everything, but we stay with the same people that were writing the stories and directing stuff around. He was just like the final boss. He was the one who said yes or no.
Shout out The Rock, by the way. No gimmick infringement there on that one.
To me, my final boss is Meiko Satomura. So,
well, I wanted to ask you about that. So I'm so glad you brought it up. It's like you read my mind.